Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? Ryan Merrick, what's going on? Baby's crying here, so hopefully she'll settle down here. So we'll wait a few seconds before we get started. Got some things I want to discuss. Well, I'm in healthcare, so you can imagine what I've already done. So, Kurt, what's going on, man? Justin says, don't get the jab. We're about to be rich. I don't know how those two are related, but, I am in healthcare. So, like I said, I don't like to talk about that kind of stuff, but you can imagine that I may have already received it, right? So, anyways, guys, how are you guys doing this fine afternoon, evening? Did you guys have a good weekend? Did you guys get everything done? I kind of have a relaxing weekend. We moved a bunch of furniture around. Like we have a little treadmill. We moved that over to our living room and moved our dog's kennel around. And it's a pretty big kennel. So, Gail, what's going on, man? Where do you live, bro? Midwest area? Phillips, what's going on? Midnight Snack, looking forward to this episode. Yeah, I just want to talk about some basic finance related stuff. I am big into the whole financial independence, retire early movement. So I do want to bring that up and talk about crypto. So Gail says Chicago. Hey, you're in doesn't Cavell live in Chicago or at least Illinois, I think? So Chicago is a beautiful city. It gets super duper cold though, but very beautiful city. I actually would love to go back. When I was in the Army Reserve, I drilled over there. So every 2 months or so, I would fly over there, do some military training. And man, it was so cold sometimes, but very beautiful city, a lot of culture, great food, baseball games. Awesome. Antonio, hey, bro, keep up the great work. Philip B. from Frankfurt, Germany. I've lived in Germany when I was a kid. My dad was in the Air Force, and we lived in Ramstein Air Force Base. So I was pretty young, so I don't know where that is in relation to most parts of Germany, but still pretty cool. Minnesota is also pretty cold there. Been through there. Hey, Dan, looking forward to this one. Great content, bro. So yeah, let's just start here, I guess. It's a good starting point. So what I would like to say is, obviously, a lot of us get into crypto because we want mostly to make a little bit of money. Jeff Games says, isn't there an AMA tonight with Omi? Is there? If there is, I don't know about it, which doesn't say a whole lot, but I am not sure. Reese did do a stream with the women of Vivi, so maybe you're referencing that. I did see that. That was actually pretty cool. There was like 9 women and Reese. And someone made a joke in there like, why is there 10 women in a man's voice? I thought that was funny in reference to Reese's beautiful long hair. But it was a good stream. And it's good to see some low-key, relaxed streams. But there's people in the comments like, ask the real questions. And I was joking around too, saying some of the same things. But, really, it's really we just want to get to know the team. I think it's cool that we can get to know the team on this level there. So anyways. So I want to talk about financial independence because we all get into crypto because we want to make a bunch of money, but it's not making money for the sake of just having money to buy stuff. At least that's not my view. If it's yours, it's not necessarily wrong, but it's good to have other perspectives as well, right? So I first want to talk about compound interest. Now, I know this is very basic. I'm sure all you guys intrinsically understand this, but let's see the compound interest calculator. And this is why I think financial independence is important. Oh, gosh. Okay. This is why I think financial independence is important because let's say you have a average American job, 40 to 60,000 a year, something like that. And, you have $1,000 in the bank. And let's say, you contribute $1,000 a month. I think for a lot of people that's a good amount to put in. It might be realistic. Everyone is in a different stage in life in general, but that's a good amount to just start with, right? So let's say, theoretically, people tell you that you're going to be working for the next 30, 40, 50 years of your life. but let's just say 30. I'm 35, no, excuse me, 36. So that means I would theoretically retire when I was 66. Now, that's good for a lot of people, but I think when you're in crypto, when we can make better gains, if you're in the NFT game, you can maybe make even higher gains right now. There's a lot of people in the comments that do that. Shout out to Gail there. So let's say in the stock market, you get 9% interest. So let's just kind of calculate that. I think I did some calculations. So that means in 30 years, you will have accumulated $1.6 million. Now, a lot of that's going to be eaten up with inflation and things like that, but that's a good amount to have. But is that enough to retire, right? Is that enough to retire? And let's say we'll even do 2,000. 2,000 is a lot for a lot of people. And I think if you're making 40 to 60,000 a year, 2,000 is really, really difficult. But let's just see what that looks like. Obviously, it kind of almost doubles what you can get. So that's really, really cool. 3.2 million, I think a lot of people can retire off a lot less, but 3.2 million is really safe, so to speak, right? So I want to get into something called the 4% rule of retirement, and I'll circle back to crypto in a sec here. So what is the 4% rule? The 4% rule is that's a safe amount. Like, let's say you accumulate $1 million, however, job, crypto, whatever. The rule says if you withdraw 4% every year, you will never get rid of your capital. You will always have your capital. So it's safe to say that if you put that in some reasonable investments, withdraw 4%, you will always have that 4% to withdraw on. And some people even say it should be 3.5, or some really conservative people say 3%. So let's go with the 4% rule. I already did the calculations here. Let's say you accumulate $1 million in whatever time span. You would be able to get $40,000 a year. Now that's pretty good, right? It depends where you live and stuff like that, but that's pretty good. And your monthly income with that would be $3,333. So, and there's another, well, let's just stay there with the 4% rule. So why is crypto so potentially powerful? Because the returns you get could be so much more than just 8 or 9%, right? I mean, there's people in crypto who make, I don't know, they double their money within the span of a couple months. If you got into Solana even 3 months ago, you probably would have 5x'd your money. When you get a string of projects like that, it's easy to snowball even a small amount of money to have a decent amount of money. And don't forget, I think that with OMI, we are coming to a precipice here. We're getting to a point where this price should start moving. So, I think we should probably start putting more money into our investments overall into OMI. It's not financial advice, but that's kind of what I am doing. So, you may have heard, guys, we are close to a lot of big news movers, right? We are going to move this price really, really soon. We have the immutable migration coming up, supposedly coming up this month. I could see it happening as early as this week. I didn't think it would happen last week because I thought that was too early. But we're getting into the middle of the month, right? It's September 12th, kind of the middle of the month. We could see something this week. It could be next week. So we are running out of time before this price will go to the moon. And when I say go to the moon, I mean just kind of break out of where we have been. So let's look at the price here. There we go. Share that file there. Let's try to get a good view here. So some people have been talking about the cup and handle pattern, right? So the cup and handle pattern is basically something like this. Kyle Wilson pointed it out. He did a really good video on that. So check it out if you didn't see this already. But he is saying we are going to moon because this represents a cup and handle pattern. And a cup and handle pattern is very, very, very bullish. This is the handle, a little steep, but could represent a big bull movement. Now, also the interesting thing is the technical indicators are showing us that we could have a big move soon. And it's interesting as well. We have the immutable migration that's also soon, right? So everything is coming together. We have the technical analysis piece that is coming together, essentially pricing in this immutable migration that's about to happen. People are filling their bags with this cheaper OMI in the hopes that this thing skyrockets going forward. And it's going to be fast, and I think it's going to be furious. So it's really, really exciting. And even if you don't believe in the cup and handle pattern, maybe, I am kind of a little bit hesitant to talk about some of those technical indicators, but even just when you look at a chart like this, over the span of time here, we're seeing that we are getting a little bit higher, and have higher lows. So that's generally kind of a bullish type pattern as well. And the most important thing we need to break is kind of like the 4850 level. It's something like that. We have seen those prices before. Big news hits, we go up there, and then it kind of goes right back down slowly over time. There's a lot of reasons for that. Some people say the whales are selling off, and there is some evidence to support that. Could be why we've stayed in this price pattern for so long. I don't know. But I think this might be the news that finally blows us past the 484950 type level. And then I think, in essence, we're in kind of a price discovery mode. I mean, we could easily go, I don't think we'll hit 1 cent right off the bat. I mean, we're going to go high, we're going to go low, we're going to go high, we're going to go low. We're going to have a pattern like that. But I think we can easily go from, once we break through 50, we're comfortable. We're like 55 and we're comfortable at that level. We can actually go to 60, 65, 70, and then we're in striking distance of a 1 cent OMI, something we've been looking forward to for quite some time. And where there's a lot of exchanges. So I'm hoping we are staying at this kind of close to 7880 level, something like that. And then those exchanges hit, those big exchanges we are promised, 3 to 5 this year, end of this year. And I think there'll be a lot of exchanges. I am hoping this volume just eats up all that whale manipulation and it just skyrockets us to past the 1 cent and within striking distance of at least 2 cents. That's what I hope. And it's going to be really exciting. And I can't wait. I really can't wait because we've been waiting for so long. I feel like I've been talking about this for so long. And in crypto, 3 months is almost like a year, I feel like, in how we perceive things. So, if you have a good bag, if you have 1 million OMI, if you bought it at these prices and it goes to 1 cent, you're basically tripling your money within a short period of time. Tripling your money. Now, it's still 1 cent, but that's a good investment. And returns like that really do help us get past or help us retire early. And that's what we all want, right? That's what we all want. So let's take some kind of questions and things like that and see what everyone is saying. Midnight Snack says, not just retire with crypto. I think we can build generational wealth. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Me personally, actually, my parents, my dad grew up, pretty reasonable, typical, like middle class existence. Went to college at the University of Hawaii, joined the Air Force, did 20 years of the Air Force, and back then, when he was in as a second lieutenant, low man on the totem pole in terms of the officer corps, they didn't get paid that much. That's what my mom said. They had to scrimp, they had to save, they had to live below their means. But then over time, you go up the ranks, people start funding, or the government starts funding the military a little bit better. So it's a better job opportunity compared to the private sector in terms of benefits and things like that. So eventually retires at a lieutenant colonel salary. I don't know what that was, but it was pretty good. 20 years, gets a forever pension at 50% of his base pay. And then, if you started when you're in college, you do 20 years, you're like 41. So 40, 45 maybe. And, what's next? You're going to retire right there. Some people will decide to do that, but he wanted to get a second job. And so over time, from humble beginnings, definitely has They do very, very well. Let's just put it that way. But they still have that frugal type mindset. So is there some generational wealth that potentially could be passed on to me? Yes, there could be. But I personally don't really believe in passing on huge amounts of wealth to your kids because I grew up pretty well off, actually. And I didn't want for anything, a lot of, they paid for my car, and they gave me some money when I was going through college. And, at one point, I won't get into that part of the story, but the point I'm trying to get at is I think by being so coddled or by having so much, resources that are kind of passed on to you indirectly, I think it does make you lazy. And that's not what I want to do for my kids. Anyways, long rant, but I don't really, I definitely want to pass on my children something that they can use to get ahead, maybe like enough money to pay for all their college or enough money to go to medical school if they desire, or enough money to start a business, enough money to go to a trade school if that's what they want to do. I don't want to push them, but I don't believe in really giving people massive amounts of wealth. Anyways, it is moving. 0.00212836 basis. That is huge if it was a stock. Yeah, it would be. Cosmos says, do you think whales are going to let the price go up or are they going to try to manipulate again? I think what we're seeing is really some sell-offs from some big whales. And I don't want to get into the kind of the details of that, but there are some people who are selling. And it's okay to sell your tokens. I'm not saying they're necessarily manipulating things. I mean, they may be. We don't really know. At least I don't know. But they are definitely selling to get rid of their OMI tokens. But we're eventually going to get to the point where that's why multiple exchanges are key, because we need those retail investors or random people buying on different exchanges to eat up that volume that they're putting down range for us there. Dancing says, have you reached the point where you will no longer buy OMI or will you continue to put $30 towards it every week? So I am still trying to put money for my real estate proceeds into OMI, and there is kind of caps on Coinbase into how much Tether I can buy and send off. So I'm kind of reaching some limits there, but I still have money I want to get into OMI. I have a good amount. So even if it mooned from here, I would still be okay with what I had. I would still dollar cost average, because I think, to me, everything below my initial cost basis, which was like 7,880, something like that, anything below that to me is cheap. That's how I think about it, at least. George 17 says, for every evil whale, there are 10 good-hearted whales. I hope the good ones destroy the evil whales. I don't really believe that there's any sort of good or evil in the market. I think people act on their best interests, and that's kind of what makes capitalism work. It's only when they really try to manipulate things like, I don't know, creating massive sell walls, creating a network of FUD. I think, can't prove it, but I think there's people out there that purposely take things and create FUD for whatever objective. And if you have those kind of resources to accumulate together, that's fine, I guess. Kevin John says, in a bear market, all coins will suffer, especially if Bitcoin gets hit bad. But do you think, with all the utility being added over the next few weeks, do you think OMI will go lower than now? I don't think so. And there is safety in buying at the cheapest possible price. I feel really, really safe with that, because really, it can't go that much lower, right? The lowest it went, I saw, is like 0.0011 at some point. If you bought a bag at that price, it can't go that much lower, right? It just there's a certain point, it just can't go that much lower. And so I think there's some safety in buying at the cheapest price. When you're buying something like I bought a little bit of Solana, you might want to say that's chasing a green candle or something, but I that's what I did. At one point, Solana has kind of had this big run up. So in a sense that if it crashes, I'm going to lose a lot of money. But if you bought it at $40, the risk of going down below $40 right now is pretty ridiculous, right? So there is safety in buying it at cheap prices. That's why I think if you like OMI, you should buy it now when it's relatively cheap. And the bear market thing, the bear market will come. I don't know when. The whale I interviewed, Tim, said it could come next year, but a little bit before New Year's, Chinese New Year, so February timeframe. Okay, that's fine. You should just be ready for it. And the best way to be ready for it is to make sure you're buying cheap or undervalued tokens. That's the best defense. That's what Warren Buffett does. He's a value investor, and then we should take kind of a lesson for that there. Rodriguez says, I don't want to retire. I want enough to go wherever I want, whenever I feel like it. Yeah, that's fine. And when I say it's not saying early retirement's not about like, okay, I just want to sit on a beach and drink pina coladas all day. That might be fun for a month, but after that, you're going to get bored. You want to do something. So it's more about freedom. It's more about freedom to do whatever you want. For some people, that's working a job. Maybe your job, you love doing it. And that's great. And that's what financial independence is all about. It's about cutting expenses to things you don't care too much about. Like, for example, I have my car I personally drive, my daily driver, is my wife's car when she was in high school from 2008. And why do I still have a car like that? Well, it's all paid off. The insurance costs are low. The tax and title costs are low. If I get in a wreck, assuming I'm okay, I have insurance on me medical wise, so I'm taken care of. But if that car is totally totaled, who cares? It's like $1,000. It's worth $1,000, but the value it brings to me as a vehicle is so much higher. So that's what it's all about: is cutting things that really truly don't matter, and really putting it towards things that do matter to you. Rip curls, how's it going, Doc? All women panel. I mean, it's interesting. Someone made a joke on there, like I was talking on there. Someone made a joke about how they should have the Asians of Vivi. The Asians of Vivi. And I was like, if we did the Asians of Vivi, I would get canceled. Like, can you imagine? I probably shouldn't talk about this. Too controversial. But can you imagine like a different, like, I can't say it. I don't want to get canceled here. Did you see Foster Hilt's video? Omi would be 35 cents if it pulled a hex. I did not. I don't watch too much of his videos. I'm glad he put a video out about that, because that's what people have been kind of talking about. So that's fine. Maybe I was a little bit late, but that's the video you wanted, right, Mark? The hex video. Mark says, are you still aiming for 20 million Omi? Yeah, I'm trying to I think 20 million is a good goal for me. So I'm getting close. So that's good. Foster Hunter says, I should have been able to retire a few years ago, but I was in active addiction and spent 1.3 million on heroin in 5 years. It's tough, man. Don't know what to say to that. That's definitely really, really tough there. So Hex has about the same amount of supply. So yeah, that's Hex token. People have been talking to me about it. Didn't do a video about it, but we can talk about it here since I did talk about it before. If that's what you guys want to talk about, we can do that. Let's see here. Pull that up here. So Hex is really interesting because it has, in terms of tokens, quite a bit of tokens. As you can see here, I don't know if you can see it that well. Let me check. That's a little hard to see, but that's fine. Maybe I'll just pull it up here. So they have about 173 billion tokens. And if you look at like CoinGecko or something, you know, our true, let's just actually pull up CoinGecko for Omi. Technically, the circulating supply, and I think this is the most accurate actually, is 217 billion tokens. If you look at something like CoinMarketCap, you'll see it capped at 166. That's obviously incorrect. But still kind of the same general principle. They have quite a bit of HEX tokens, 173.4 billion with a total supply of 633 billion tokens there. So 633 billion tokens. So when you look at this, you will see that they even follow a very similar price history. 2019, they're trading at 0.000011, and they're trading like that for a while, kind of like Ecomi was back in the day. But there came a point during the bull market, it just started blowing up. It hit 1 cent here. Bam, 5 cents. Bam, 9 cents. Bam, 15 cents. 18 cents. Up to a high of, is that 48 cents or something like that? 46, 48. I think it's the 48 cents. And now trading at 41 cents. So, what HEX is a token where, excuse me, it's basically like a certificate of deposit for Ecomi, or excuse me, for Bitcoin, for crypto. So you kind of earn interest, you can stake it, things like that. So the argument here is that if we having a circulating supply, of like 750 billion tokens, we're trading at similar levels here, we could eventually hit 41 cents. 41 cents. So really, really good there. So that's kind of the HEX argument. People have been wanting me to talk about that, and I am just a little bit behind. So I'm glad Foster was able to do that for you. I'm sure it was a great, great video there. So if HEX can do it, surely we could do it. We are early. You have to understand that when you're early to something, it's not sexy. It's not moving. Maybe it's even going down, but it's not moving. It's flat. And so you have to psychologically, you ask yourself, am I in the right investment? And do I really see something that everyone else doesn't see? And we second guess ourselves because we think like if no one else is doing it, it must be wrong. And so that's why it's really hard to hold. That's why you don't really have a whole lot of Bitcoin millionaires, because in the end of the day, it's hard to hold, and they probably sold off early. So it's kind of good stuff. I'm glad he did that. So and Foster Hilt made a good point about Ecomi having 138,000 holders, and HEX token only has 258,000 holders. Yeah, I think that's good. Rip Curl says, I don't think we will see OMI price lower than 0.0023 ever again. Yeah, I really hope not, because I'm not going to lie. Real talk here. I am going to be a little bit disappointed if after all this news that is coming up, OMI utility, that's new, immutable, exchanges, Master Collector, Viviverse this year. We're probably going to have a game that we can play this year on the Viviverse. That's what I'm guessing. If that's not enough to put us at the bare minimum to 1 cent, I feel like there's something going on, right? It's something is wrong. And it's just the whales who are manipulating the price down or selling off, whatever it is. So I truly hope that we will get to minimum 2 cents this year. And I think it's possible. Kevin John says, when utility gets added, it really is goodbye to these price levels, bear market or not. Rip Curls, Daniel Lee, any chance of you getting a video interview with Reese? Has anyone from the team reached out to you as they have TAPS trades, for example? So I have the ability, he has said it in a group chat setting, that if anyone wants to do an interview, they can with him. The reason I don't want to do an interview, because I want to do an interview when the questions are going to be unique. TAPS does such a good job that sometimes I don't want to do anything because he did such a good job. TAPS is great. And as evidence to this, Poor Man Printing has got an interview with Reese coming up soon, pretty soon. I don't know if his advertising, I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but that's coming out soon. So I could actually But am I going to really add much more than what we have heard before? It's always going to be the same questions. When immutable, when migration, when master collector, when OMI. I don't want to ask those questions. They ask it, they answer it all the time. I'm just tired of those questions. I would rather have an interview after the fact, after the dust is settled. Then maybe I'll ask him for an interview, and maybe he'll be too busy by then. But, as you can see, oh man, congestion. So as you can see, he's got interviews, with Poor Man Printing, Women of Vivi. So I have the option to do so. I just don't want to do it right now. I want to do it when I can add some interesting perspective to it. So I'm not ready for that just yet. DD Jr. says, if I make enough money with OMI, I'll take part of to live a normal life without having to work a 9 to 5, and will invest the other money and time to invest into the next OMI. I am looking for the next OMI, and haven't decided. Once I'm really committed to something, maybe I'll talk about it more, but I'm looking at things like Illuvium, Immutable X token. I think that has a lot of bull potential. And I think Illuvium actually has a lot of potential now, even if you started staking it. That's what I would do if I were you, and I'm doing it. Why do different sites have different circulating supply? What is the actual circulating supply? So the actual circulating supply, I would go to CoinGecko, and it's a common problem. Even I had the issue of figuring out what is the actual circulating supply. And that is 217 million, or excuse me, no, we wish it was 217 million. 217 billion OMI. 217 billion OMI. And that takes into consideration the founder unlocks, whereas the other sites don't take that into consideration. And we have more founder unlocks coming, I think, this year, and also one more iteration next year, I believe, of founder unlocks. So the max, I think, is like 313 billion. I think that's the max, something like that. So Death Game says, I actually forgot about Hex yet. They are 2 years younger than OMI, I believe. I wonder if they're getting better traction because of being on the ERC chain. Yeah. That's probably part of it, honestly. Zekar, how's it going, my friend? $9.99. Nice. Thank you for your donation again. I always appreciate you. Good talking with you earlier today. Bert says, yo, what up, Dan? Tim says, retirement for me means the freedom to travel the world and explore the different cultures. A lot of people work till retirement age when the body can't handle adventure, travel, and play while you can. This is a good pivot for me to talk about something else I wanted to bring up. I totally agree with you. My parents are very well off at this point in their life. They're a little older, almost about to hit 70 for both of them. They can do anything they want. But maybe the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. You start to get sick. You start to wonder, what am I going to do with the last 10, 20, 30 years, if you're lucky, years of your life? You'll look back in your life and say, did my life matter? And so I watched my father work really, really hard. And that was great because, he definitely provided for us. I never wanted for anything. I was an only child. But at the end of the day, I realized from watching that is, on one hand, the security is nice, but he worked really, really hard. He came home late, went to work early, and maybe he loved doing that. He did like doing that, but maybe he missed out on a lot. And so that always stuck with me. And it made me realize that I don't want to be someone that spends so much of my time, my life at work. I want to be doing things I really want to do. I'm 36. As we get older, 40, 50, 60, our health starts failing. Friends around us also get old, family members, people start dying. Things start to get a little sad after a certain point. And maybe some of you guys have already experienced loss at an early age already. But I want to be able to have a good time. And so I chose a field. After I got out of the military, I had money stacked away I could do anything with. I could burn a year just living, just doing whatever. I could have done that. I had GI Bill, I can do any educational program I would want that I could get into. And I chose nursing because I like the idea of shift work. I like the flexibility. And then I became a nurse practitioner and my income doubled, even tripled. And that's a great career. But what I love about it is the flexibility. My wife is actually going to start working for my same company at part-time, because part-time for her means that she can take care of the kid. We can travel. It's the ultimate freedom, is to be able to, granted the part-time, your income goes down like 60% or whatever it is. But luckily our jobs are good enough where we can still live off of 60% of her income. And I also want to follow suit. Medicine can be really, really hard. It can be soul sucking. When you think about medicine, you're thinking like, oh, you're going to help people. You make good money. You're respected. That's all great. But then there's the liability. And, maybe you make a big mistake at work. Maybe you lose $1 million. That sucks. But at least no one died, Whereas if I mess up at work, if I miscalculate something, someone can have real harm. If I don't notice something right off the bat, or I misdiagnose something, that can be soul crushing. Money can be replaced. Someone's health, so it's stressful in that way. I mean, there's what's his Rip Curls. He's a physician. He probably knows what I'm talking about. I'm sure a lot of you intrinsically know what I'm talking about. So that can be really, really stressful. So I say all that to just say that I would just wish I have the ability to go part-time. If I could cut down some of my expenses, some of my student loans, if OMI does well, if I find a way to replace my benefits, if I can pay for health insurance out of my own pocket without taking too big of a hit, I can eventually also go part-time, working 2, maybe 3 days most a week. We can travel. That's the American dream for me. And I'm blessed to have a career in order for me to do that. So, I mean, life has been good and I really appreciate it. So that's why I think crypto is so important, because maybe you don't have that job. Maybe you're a lawyer and you have to work a lot of hours, but maybe crypto can free you quicker than conventionally. I think traveling the world too would be really, really cool, man, because that's what it's all about. Like, we love traveling. We went to Egypt recently, or a couple of years ago. Great trip. And some people go to Egypt when they're in their 50s or 60s, but we were able to go when, just a few years ago. So great experience, can really add a lot of enjoyment to your life. 18.29 cents was my DCA. Wow. Now it seems we're passing that to 3134, maybe the new target. Any thoughts? I think 3.5 will be the new 2.5. I think we're getting to the point where we're going to be going to have the new floor, I guess, would be like 4.5. I'm hoping, at least. I believe the strong power of Hex is that people can stake with big profit and they can't take money out. Otherwise, they have to pay a massive penalty. That's why when BTC crashed, the token kept going up. Yeah, there's something about Hex that I think, I don't want to say too much, but I'm not pushing Hex. I'm not telling you to invest in Hex. I'm not telling you to invest in anything. I think Hex is interesting, but I think there's more to it than just meets the eye, and I'll just leave it at that. A casual search of it on the internet can maybe reveal some things to you, but have you seen the video of Foster? I don't really watch too much of his content, to be honest. B-Boy Steve, what's up, Daniel? Love tuning in. Enjoy the perspective. Appreciate it, man. Glad you enjoy it. Dan, do you know anything about Ecomi's operating profit cost? Do you know how healthy their financials are going forward? This is the last piece. And OMI will rise. Great team, product team, and token are great. Yeah, the thing is, they are a private company incorporated in Singapore. So I don't think they're not like the SEC, where you have to, they're not like an American company on the public stock exchange where they have to put out their financials. It's hard to get their financials. I would love to see it, because that could be great content, but most likely I will never get that. Do you think the holders play a role, or do you think staking hex and taking it out of circulating supply is what raised the price so quickly? If that were the case, I think staking for the master collector will be massive. So there is talk that maybe hex could have some sort of, it's controversial. Could it be a scam? That's kind of the like the talk. And the thing is, I don't know enough about it, and I'm not pushing it. I'm saying it's interesting from a tokenomics perspective. But there's probably a reason why it rose versus everyone else. So you just got to be careful. I don't recommend doing that. The Gale, 5 cents in a year in my eyes, depending on if we are on bigger exchanges before then. I'm hoping so, man, because it was interesting. When I first started, I was a nobody on YouTube. I'm still considered a nobody in the grand scheme of things, but within the Omi community, at least I feel like I have a voice, and I'm very appreciative of that. But when I was a nobody, I was like, I think we can hit $1. I think it can happen in 5 years. That's what I said. Then I added to that price prediction, and I said, well, I think we can hit 2 to 5 cents by the end of the year. And it was funny because people laughed at me and said that's too low. And now they're laughing at me saying it's too high. It's just, I think 2 to 5 cents could be realistic. What are your thoughts on OMI staking? Do you think there could be a possibility we can stake OMI for more OMI? I don't think so. There's been talk about that. There's like something called a Howie test in crypto. Maybe we can talk about that. That'll be interesting. Let me just skim through this real quick. Okay. Let's look at this definition. So there's something called the Howie test, and no one wants to be considered a security because it adds so much regulation. Everyone's trying to avoid that, right? Let me try to find where is that definition there? The Howie test determines what qualifies as an investment contract and would therefore be subject to U.S. security laws. And OMI is trying to avoid that because of the regulation. They don't want to get in trouble with the U.S. government. Howie test is important for situating blockchain and digital currency projects with investors and certain backers. There's 4 criteria to determine when an investment contract exists: an investment of money in a common enterprise with the expectation of profit to be derived from the efforts of others. So basically, it's like you're sitting back, staking OMI, getting more OMI, So let's go through this Howie test here. Is it an investment of money to stake? Yes. Is it in a common enterprise? Well, it's a OMI, so I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just saying probably, right? With the expectation of profit. Well, if you're staking it in a financial sense, then yes. To be derived from the efforts of others. And I would say that when you're staking OMI for profit, depending on how they do it, I'm definitely not working, right? So therefore, it could be a security. So definitely the thought is that OMI is probably going to be staking for certain rewards for the Master Collector program that's going to add value for you as a collector. It's all going to be collector oriented, hence the Master Collector program. So most likely not staking in the conventional sense there. How's it going, Pop? What time is it over there in Germany? Foster pumping the price. What did he do? What price targets do you have to take profits? I don't really especially need the money, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to take profits, and I'm not taking minor profits, right? I'm not caring about $100 here, or even $1,000 here or there, or even $10,000 here or there, right? Am I going to take 10,000 now? No, unless I see an opportunity. So I'm thinking that when it hits 5 cents, I might take about 10% because I'd rather let my money ride, but maybe 10% at it when it hits 5 cents. And maybe every 5 cents after that, I take 10% away. The whale I interviewed said that he was going to take, I forgot what I said. It was like 20% at certain points, 20%, 20%, 20%. And I realized I probably should take some profits. So maybe 10% is good enough, Joshua, you rock. Always excited to see your videos. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Sometimes I still wonder why people like watching me, but I really enjoy doing this and I love talking to you guys. So I am always excited to see that. Ray says, I'm going to take profits at 35 cents. Probably need the smart money is probably going to tell you, they told me at least, that you probably should take it a little bit earlier. Be Great says, why is 20 million your bag mark? I don't want to be too concentrated in one project. I think 20 million is, if you saw the OMI rankings, that's really, really high. And that's good enough for me because I think that, let's say you have 20 million OMI, right? Let's, I got a text message. Let me take a look. Okay. Let's say you get 20 million OMI. How much is that math wise? And if it hits 1 cent, $200,000, pretty good money. Hits 5 cents, 1 million. And I think 5 to 10 cents is the most conservative, realistic, where high degree of confidence, high degree of certainty, we are going to hit 5 cents to 10 cents. And that's what it is. My financial retirement number, it's probably about 2 million, honestly, maybe a bit more. I don't intend to ever quit working. I want to continue working. So if, I feel like there's other projects I also want to invest in too. I want to keep a lot of money in Bitcoin. I want to keep a lot of money in Ethereum. When you get to, when you're wealthy, like Andre Jick, you start to get to the point where you're not going to risk it all anymore. You need to preserve. You don't want to lose money, When you don't have a whole lot of money, you only have a couple thousand, it's easy to go all in on something. But when you have 200,000, 2 million, it's hard to just go all in, right? You don't want to lose money. So that's what that's all about. Best altcoin, 1000x, Qubit Quantum, sold 4 million OMI. Okay. I don't know anything about that. And that's the thing is I hear all these projects all the time. And it's like, I've just never heard anything about it. Is it new? Started in 2021. Don't know anything about it, but it did shoot up. I don't like to buy when it's so green like that. So I'm actually interested on what this coin will do during a bear market. It doesn't seem to be affected by Bitcoin with all the utility. It could keep going up, possibly bringing in more crypto investors. Yeah, they say the fancy word is that it's bear market proof. And it's bear market proof because there's a deflationary aspect. But bear market, that's not true. It's not 100% bear market proof. I mean, I think it's bear market protected. It's deflationary in nature. It's tied up to an actual use case. So it's deflation. So if Bitcoin just crumps all of a sudden, hopefully OMI is going to do well. But I think if everything goes bad, goes really south, everything is going to take a hit, no matter what defensive mechanisms exist within the token. So the burns on Twitter, everyone is talking about, is not affecting the 217 billion supply. Yes, so this is a common misconception. There's the reserve wallet. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at that. We have the official token tracker. We have 284 billion OMI in the reserve wallet. We have 43 billion in the vault wallet, and we have 13 billion that has been burnt. The problem about this is that it is in a closed ecosystem, and it's pivotal for the app to work. We need to have the reserve wallet because, in essence, basically you buy something with gems or whatever it is. It goes into the reserve wallet, and then you're about to buy something, and it goes into the vault wallet, and you buy something, and there's a minting process. So your NFT is associated with it. I'm assuming a token, something like that. I don't know the technical aspects. And it goes to the burn wallet, but then you have that unique identifier for your NFT there. So this is what they're talking about when everyone's like 1 billion burnt. But circulating supply, as we saw, is 217 some odd million tokens, right? We saw on CoinGecko. So the circulating supply is here, 217 billion tokens right now, and it's going to get larger. It's going to go as high as 300 some odd billion. So that's what affects supply. That's what me and you buy. Me and you buy is what determines the price, not what happens in this closed ecosystem. So that's the common misconception. And really, I didn't understand it early on when I got into this, but now I am very familiar with it because of just doing YouTube and things like that. So. Fernando, we are on the same boat. Money to spend at least second half of life on what really matters and enjoying more life. Yeah. Here's the thing, man. We had someone in our family pass away, relatively young, 50s on my wife's side, cancer. And they had saved a lot of money. They're frugal. They were getting to a point in their life that they could do fun stuff. But then this tragedy happened. And it's like all that hard work, in a sense, is that person can't enjoy it, So that's kind of sad. So you want to enjoy life now, man. You do things you want to do. When you're young, hustle hard and work hard to get where you're at to certain points so that you can actually enjoy things. So I think you should enjoy things in your 30s, even in your 20s. You should enjoy things. Poppy says, "I hope Omi earns me enough to found a business." What kind of business you don't want to do, man? When founder unlocks, there will be a flash crash. Now, man, to be honest, I don't think so because it really hasn't happened. It's unlocked twice with very little fluctuations. It only crashes if they dump, and they haven't. What smart people are going to do if they need to get out of their bag, which they may, and some of them have, by the way, they're going to slowly sell off. They don't want to crash the price. Why? If it's at 1 cent and they just drop $1 billion. Sell it all at 1 cent, it's going to crash the price. And then every token, if they want to sell it, if you want to sell it at the right price, you have to lower how much is being sold. So you're continually lowering the price. Whereas if you slowly start doing small sales here and there at the 1 cent level, you're continuing getting your money out at 1 cent. That's what they want. They don't want to just dump. S7 says, "This is why I watch you. The fact that you are realist, not just trying to overhype what you're talking about." I'm not a shill, man. I'm just talking about my thoughts, and that's probably why some people like the content. Is because it's more real. That's what one person said to me. It's real, and I'm not trying to make money off you guys. I'm just sharing. I just love just talking to you guys. Even the ad revenue I get or the donations, it's kind of a drop in the bucket in terms of my job and what I have already. So for me, I'm not trying to shill. I'm not turning this into a business to shill crap to you guys. I do the ads just because I need to do the ads. I use it to buy new video equipment, things like that, and everything to improve the quality of the channel. But I'm not trying to shill something to you guys, okay? Reese actually, this is something that Seven said. To the people thinking the founders will dump, they love the token more than we do. Yeah, even Reese said he used to use Omi to buy collectibles he likes. Now he doesn't do any of that at all. He keeps every token. He said that before. He said that. He's even accumulating more. So that's reassuring to me. And you kind of know how the sausage is made, so to speak, Daniel, do you buy into the collectibles? Amazing content, by the way. We are about to eat. Yes, brother. I like the comics. I missed out on the Hulk comment, but I do like the comics because I think they're kind of cool. It's kind of cool to have. And I buy collectibles I like. I'm not trying to make a lot of money or flip. I really don't have enough time to do that. Even though I know it's really lucrative, I just don't have the time. Any thoughts on the Apple event tomorrow? I think it's the 14th, but that'll be interesting. You know, people have said, are we going to see Vivi with Apple? And I don't think so. I don't think Vivi is going to be anywhere near that event, but I think it has important ramifications because in order for us to have a good AR, VR metaverse that we want, we need to have the hardware. Who's going to win? It's going to be the big players. So if they introduce something, tech AR, VR glasses, affordable, I don't know how much it'll be, 600 to 1,000. You know how they are. It's probably going to be $1,000 AR, VR headsets, but people will buy that stuff up, man. But once that's mainstream, you know, when the iPhone first came out, not everyone had it, but eventually got to the point where everyone had an iPhone. It was very affordable, even though it was expensive. So once that happens with AR, VR glasses, Vivi is going to take off huge in a huge way. You, Randy, and Taps are my favorite OMI YouTubers. Yeah, I like Randy a lot. His, you know, when I first watched his channel, like he actually hit me up early on in my YouTube career and was like, "Hey, let's do a collab." And at first I was like, "Oh, you know, I think you just film your videos on your phone and you got in your kitchen." But he's so charismatic and he's such a cool guy. I'm really glad I did that because I still contact him to this day. We need to do a collab with him soon. Would you guys want to see a Randy collab? I've done some content with him before. Would you guys want to see another one? What would you guys want to do? I did an interview already with Randy, did a live stream thing. Do you want to see that again? Founders would be mad to dump before AR glasses. Randy's the best. Yeah, Randy's really, really cool there. So I really like Randy quite a bit. So anyway, so do you guys think we're going to see immutable migration this month? Some people have asked that, and I think it is. I think it is. I really do. Remember, I did say, and I got this from Hello K. I'm not a genius or anything like that, but in Hello K's interview with Reese, he did kind of mention that, you know, because Reese was like, it's going to happen in August, and then, you know, Hello K was like, well, you know, as a developer, you know, maybe like September. And I really took that. I was like, it's probably going to be either August or September. It's probably going to be September. And so I really see it happening this time. I don't see it happening in October. That'd be a little disappointing, but I'm going to take advantage of it if it does. It's going to dump the price a little bit because we're going to see a wave of FUD, and that'll be a good time to buy more of the token. If OMI hits $1, girlfriend and I are going to sell our practices, travel the world while providing pro bono mission trips, care to the underserved. Also, we like watching you because you approach OMI from an investor standpoint. Well, I appreciate that, man. I actually I feel really good that physicians are watching me. But yeah, that'd be great. So you guys own your own practices, huh? Hard to do in this day and age of corporate medicine. Matt, hey Dan, keep this awesome content coming. Your AMAs are amazing. You are answering questions live, better than doing a video and comments. Like and subscribe from the beginning. I appreciate you, Matt. I think you are one of my early viewers. There's a couple people I remembered that they kept commenting, like Coin Daddy was one, and Randy was another. And anyways, I always really appreciate my early viewers when my content really sucked, when I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, Randy casually films in his kitchen, but his authenticity and genuine personality makes him great. Yeah, he's the type of guy that you want as a buddy, as your best friend. You know, he has your back. He's that type of guy. You can tell. And I met guys like that in the military, and it's interesting that he also came from the military background. He's a genuine dude, you know. He's the type of guy you want to have a party with, too. I have 500K. Will I get rich? Depends on your definition of rich. If you hit if your bag hits 5 cents OMI per OMI, are you rich? Let me know. I'm not aware of any before my I was not aware before my investment. OMI coins at one point were used to purchase NFT. Then they stopped that for gems. That's not good at all. I see why the price went down. I don't understand that question. So here's the thing. The gems are just a stable coin for the average person who just want to buy collectibles. But in the background, a gem is associated with OMI. But it's a stable coin, kind of like USDT, like Tether. So I don't understand your question. I'm sorry. Financial news and views. I think Immutable may take another 2 to 3 weeks. Why do you say that? I don't know. I mean, it could be. I'm not saying you're wrong. The thing is, I don't know, but I know that Reese does talk on Telegram and stuff like that, and he did make it sound like his there was a viewer that mentioned one of his comments about like kind of get ready, and I think he wouldn't be saying like get ready if it wasn't going to happen this month. I at least think it's going to be announced at a bare minimum. It's going to be announced this month. It may happen in October. But I think the news of the migration is really going to solidify, just like how Marvel was announced and didn't happen until later. That's what I think will happen. Maybe that's what you mean. I don't know. Your channel's doing good, by the way. You guys need to check out Financial News and Views. Really cool guy. Love his content. He's got 685 subscribers. So check out his channel. He did a video recently. Let me just share that. I love his content because it's really kind of good. If you like my content, I think you'll like his a lot. But Financial News and Views, he's got 685 subscribers. His last video was really good. His update there, he has 1.6 views on that in one day, which is really good relative to how many subscribers he has. That's actually really good. It's actually blowing me out of the park. So I expect him to do really well. Let's get him to 1,000 subs, because then he can kind of start getting monetized. So that'll be really cool. Randy is great. Met him with Pokemon and he led me to Omi. Randy is to me as Andre is to you. That's awesome. That's great. The last medium was worded in a way that made it seem that way. Let's look at that, man. Is it the most recent medium article with the Comey? Kind of guilty, but I don't really read these a lot. I kind of use other sources of information. But okay, let's look at the monthly update here, guys. Let's kind of skim it. We'll skim it together. Okay, social growth. Telegram is 37,000. Vivi Discord 20,000 collectors. That's cool. Omi is now available on OKX. We've already known that. OKX is ranked number 2. Omi Cryptos RS coinciding with the new exchange launch. It was revealed earlier this month that we have partnered with George from Crypto RS to help introduce Omi and the wider Ecomi ecosystem to a new audience and keep everyone up to date with our developments in the coming months. If you're not already subscribed to his channel, please head there to show our support. That's big, man. He's a legit crypto YouTuber, really intelligent guy when it comes to crypto. Two of the biggest app updates launch with blind boxes, creating a new way to collect. Okay, here it is. In case you missed any of our AMAs, here's a Twitter recap. The MTL is in the final stages of legal sign-off and compliance. We are expecting this to take a few more weeks, and if all goes well, the first implementation of the MTL towards the end of September. This is what people have been waiting for, to get their money off the app and get the money flowing into the ecosystem. This is huge. If money is coming into the ecosystem, the token will naturally go up. Mutable migration is progressing well, and we will begin to release content about the process in the coming weeks. As a side note, Immutable has just launched open minting and trading on their platform, so congratulations to the team. progressing well. We will begin to release content about the process. Okay, I guess that's what you're saying. Maybe we'll get it. And I guess kind of when I say immutable migration, I just want it announced. You know, it can happen in October, but I just want it announced. It's good. Thanks for pointing that out to me. I didn't know it was out there. So Jake, is anyone concerned about the Vivi Omi rollouts over the next few weeks? Will underwhelm and cause a huge sell-off? They haven't exactly delivered consistently on their deadlines and goals. I mean, come on, man. I mean, like it's not like nothing's perfect, right? And so you kind of have to understand that. To me, they have delivered on Marvel, and that was big for me. And Reese has also said, and I made a video about it a while back, 1 and 2 exchanges, surprise exchanges, and that happens. So, I mean, I believe it. So, sup, Dan? Love your channel. Are you aspiring to be a master collector program? And which NFT is your favorite? I'm not much of a collector. I collect things I like, but I'm not big into like collecting all the whole sets because we don't even know if that's going to do something, you know. But I'll take a look at the master collector. I might look into staking tokens. That'll be cool. Thoughts on Coinbase being locked and loaded for a switch to Immutable X? Let's look at that. I don't know. I didn't see that. So you might have to. I did not see that. Recent statement by Reese, 6/7/21. We have another one exchange locked and loaded once we migrate. So that should happen pretty quickly once it's all taking place. Is that OKX? Saul says, not worried about retirement. If I regularly invest, I'll eventually be a millionaire, but old, I don't want money. Then I want it now. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's definitely the case for me as well. I think as long as I have my 401k, I will eventually be a millionaire, but I want to do it faster. Same here. 90% of the people bought OMI in the last 5 months. They will sell in the next all-time high. The question is, which selling per order price is better before OMI will go down for another massive correction? Definitely, if you approach the strategy of buy the rumor, sell, no, is it buy the rumor, sell the news? Is that what it is? Basically, news comes out. That's when you should buy. And just before it's released, you should sell. That's a strategy that seems to be working with OMI. But that doesn't mean it's going to happen in the future. Any idea if there would be a way to make money with OMI other than taking profits? Would like to keep my OMI as long as possible. Not sure if you answered already. Might have missed. I don't know how else you would make money with OMI, you know? You can get into the NFT trade, trading NFTs. That's kind of lucrative. More, it's less passive, but it's very lucrative. Dan, what are your thoughts on how payments will transfer between the app and your bank account when MTL is in place? I think that we'll be able to put more money into the app when MTL happens. Probably like a $10,000 limit, kind of following like money laundering guidelines. But I think that'll be good because then people can buy these massive priced collectibles like Donnie or whatever, or some of these comics, you know, some of them sell for thousands, sometimes tens of thousands. So it's hard to do that right now for sure. But once that money flows into the app, it'll be good for us. Jerry says, hi, Daniel. What's accounting for the increase in the market price of Marvel Comics, and how does that reconcile with the thought that prices will tank when the MTL license unlocks the market money? So there's talk right now. I won't tell my sources, but there's talk right now that people are buying up Marvel Comics because they're thinking that they can transfer it over to OpenSea and sell it there, because there are comics that have sold on OpenSea for like 8 ETH. So even if you take a fraction of that, it's a huge profit. So a lot of people are buying up comics right now. I think the comics are kind of undervalued. I bought some just because I like the comics. I want to keep them, but I'm not flipping. So that's why I think is accounting for it. So, do you believe that or not? I don't know. Tim says, no matter what people say, Vivi has delivered on everything they've said. It may not be in the timeline that everyone wants, but every commitment they have has been met. I feel like these people, man, they just don't understand what it's like to, I almost feel like they don't even have a real job. Like the people who make these complaints, it kind of annoys me, because I feel like if you've had any legitimate job, worked on any sort of major project, whether that's real estate, coding, engineering, healthcare, accounting, consulting, medicine, you know what it's like when things don't hit deadlines. That happens all the time. And I feel like the only job some of these people have had is like working at Walmart or something. And that's why they may have these like complaints. It really always annoys me. Or they're like 16 years old or something, Imagine selling a Marvel comic for 8 ETH. Yeah, for sure. So anyways, guys, let's just take a few more questions and we'll kind of end the stream here as per our usual. But it's been a good stream. I really appreciate you guys there. So it's going to be a good month for sure. Oh, I wanted to share one last thing here. It was on the things I wanted to discuss. Poppy, I don't mean you, man. I don't mean you, bro. This was more in terms of like the financial independence angle. I should have brought it up earlier, but I thought it was a good thread. I have it in the, it's interesting. I have it in the comments down below. So this guy's 35 years old. This has happened 2 years ago. 3.5 million net worth, mostly from crypto. And the TLDR is guy has a great job for many years, gets a big crypto windfall at the height of his career. Now feels like his job is pointless. Trying to figure out life. Boohoo, feel bad for him. I'm such an idiot. So basically this guy had a job. He was a YouTuber making like travel guide type content, but he has bosses, so he didn't like that. And oops, shoot. And he got to travel a lot. It's a really cool job, but he watched his income grow from 30K to 10X, so maybe close to 300,000, and lived frugally. And he discovered Bitcoin, got into it. And, the long of it is that he got $3.5 million net worth. He can actually get $10,000 a month to live forever. And I guess he's trying to figure out what to do. Basically, he feels like he got a cheat code in life. He doesn't know what to do, how to make it fun again. Feel like he doesn't deserve it. So I truly feel like, guys, that so if that happened 2 years ago, right? So that would be 2019. So he started getting into this in 2014. So in the scale of 5 years, he went from, first of all, he has a good job, right? He had a good job. He was making good money. So regardless of what he did, he would have been in a good position. But he put a lot of money into Bitcoin. Now he has millions of dollars. So I feel like OMI could be the same as Bitcoin back in the day, for Ethereum back in the day, Cardano back in the day, or even a year ago. Put your money into OMI now, it won't. You can't go wrong, especially at these low prices. There's a margin of safety when you buy it at pretty cheap prices, because it can't go that much lower. If it goes that much lower, that means something happens, right? That means something big happened, like David, you rug pulled us, or Reese gets convicted of some crime. You know what I mean? Like that's what has to happen for this to go downhill like that. And it just won't. The good thing is these license sources done all the hard work for us. They've already verified these guys. They wouldn't do business with these guys if they're a big rug pull operation. And we're getting in so early because no one knows about this token. People are starting to. It's kind of like when the early OGs, like the guy I interviewed, Tim, the guy I interviewed, he got into it really early in the ICO days. So that's like getting into Bitcoin back in 2011. But where we are now in the timeline, it's like getting into Bitcoin back in 2013. So we hold for 5 years, we're going to do really, really well. So Vivi Darklink, how's it going, man? Appreciate you. Anyways, guys, I looking forward to Warhammer. I'm looking forward to Warhammer 40K. Yeah. Yeah, David Yu being caught stealing limited edition Pokemon cards, that would be a story. I mean, that's what would have to happen to crush this project. It could happen, but what is the possibility? Very, very low. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching this. It's a long stream, but I appreciate each and every one of you. It's going to be a great week. It's going to be a great month for OMI. So get your bags loaded, and I will see you guys in the next one. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you all. See you later.